Have you ever noticed how sitting for too long can leave you feeling stiff, achy, or just plain worn out? Maybe you've been watching your favorite television show, reading a good book, or even just catching up with a friend over coffee. And when you finally get up, your body feels like it's protesting every move. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many of us, especially as we get older, tend to spend more time sitting than we realize. And while it might seem harmless, sitting too much can actually have some pretty serious effects on our health, especially after 60. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I've been sitting most of my life and I'm fine. But here's the thing, our bodies change as we age. What didn't bother us in our 40s or 50s can start to take a toll in our 60s, 70s, and beyond. The good news? It's never too late to make small changes that can have a big impact on how you feel every day. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 dangerous side effects of sitting too much in older age, and more importantly, how you can fix them. So, let's get started. The first side effect we're going to talk about is muscle weakness and loss of mobility. When you sit for long periods, your muscles, especially in your legs and core, aren't being used much. Over time, this can lead to something called muscle atrophy, which is just a fancy way of saying your muscles start to shrink and weaken. And when your muscles weaken, everyday activities like standing up from a chair, climbing stairs, or even walking can become more difficult. You might notice that you feel a bit unsteady on your feet, or that it takes more effort to move around than it used to. But here's the good news. You can fight back against muscle weakness with some simple exercises. You don't need to join a gym or start lifting heavy weights. Just incorporating a few gentle movements into your day can make a big difference. For example, try standing up and sitting down from a chair a few times in a row. It's a great way to strengthen your leg muscles. Or, if you're feeling up to it, take a short walk around your home or neighborhood. Even a few minutes of movement can help keep your muscles active and strong. Now, let's move on to the second side effect, poor circulation. When you sit for too long, especially with your legs crossed or in one position, it can slow down your blood flow. This can lead to swelling in your feet and ankles, that pins and needles feeling, or even more serious issues like blood clots. Poor circulation can also make you feel more tired because your body isn't getting the oxygen and nutrients it needs to function at its best. So what can you do to keep your blood flowing? One of the easiest things is to simply move more often. Set a timer to remind yourself to get up and stretch every 30 minutes or so. If you're watching television, use the commercial breaks as a cue to stand up and walk around. And when you're sitting, try to avoid crossing your legs for long periods. Instead, keep your feet flat on the floor and gently wiggle your toes or rotate your ankles every now and then. These small movements can help keep your circulation going strong. Now, before we move on to the next point, let's take a quick moment to reflect on what we've covered so far. We've talked about how sitting too much can lead to muscle weakness and poor circulation, 2 things that can really impact your quality of life as you get older. But we've also talked about some simple, practical steps you can take to combat these issues. And the best part, these changes don't have to be overwhelming. Even small adjustments to your daily routine can make a big difference. So, now that we've covered muscle weakness and poor circulation, let's talk about another side effect of sitting too much, back and joint pain. If you've ever felt a twinge in your lower back or stiffness in your hips after sitting for a while, you're not alone. Sitting for long periods, especially in a slouched position, can put a lot of pressure on your spine and joints. Over time, this can lead to chronic pain and even conditions like arthritis. But don't worry. There are ways to ease that discomfort and protect your back and joints. One of the simplest things you can do is to pay attention to your posture. When you're sitting, try to keep your back straight and your shoulders relaxed. You might also want to consider using a cushion or lumbar roll to support your lower back. And of course, Getting up and moving regularly can help relieve pressure on your joints and keep them from getting stiff. Another tip is to incorporate some gentle stretching into your day. Stretching can help improve your flexibility and reduce tension in your muscles. For example, try this simple stretch. While sitting, slowly twist your torso to one side, holding onto the back of your chair for support. Hold for a few seconds, then switch sides. It's a great way to loosen up your spine and relieve some of that built-up tension. So, there you have it, 3 dangerous side effects of sitting too much and some practical tips to help you combat them. But we're not done yet. In the next part, we'll dive into 2 more side effects and explore even more ways to stay active and healthy as you age. Remember, it's never too late to make positive changes for your health. Small steps can lead to big results, and you've already taken the first step by watching this video. So, let's keep going. Your body will thank you. Now that we've talked about muscle weakness, poor circulation, and back and joint pain, let's move on to the 4th side effect of sitting too much: increased risk of chronic conditions. You might not realize it, but spending too much time in a chair can actually raise your risk for serious health issues like heart disease, diabetes, and even certain types of cancer. It sounds scary, I know, but let's break it down so it makes sense. And more importantly, so you know how to protect yourself. When you sit for long periods, your body's metabolism slows down. This means you're not burning calories as efficiently, which can lead to weight gain over time. Excess weight, especially around the midsection, is a major risk factor for conditions like type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Sitting also affects how your body processes sugar and fat, which can lead to higher blood sugar levels and unhealthy cholesterol levels. Over time, these changes can take a toll on your overall health. But here's the good news. Even small amounts of movement can help counteract these effects. Studies have shown that breaking up long periods of sitting with just a few minutes of light activity, like walking or stretching, can improve your metabolism and lower your risk of chronic conditions. So, what can you do? If you're watching television, try standing up and doing a few gentle exercises during the commercials. March in place, do some arm circles, or even just walk around the room. If you're reading or working on a hobby, set a timer to remind yourself to get up and move every 30 minutes. These little breaks can add up and make a big difference in your health. Another way to reduce your risk is to incorporate more physical activity into your daily routine. You don't have to run a marathon or spend hours at the gym. Just aim for 20 to 30 minutes of moderate activity most days of the week. This could be something as simple as a brisk walk, gardening, or even dancing to your favorite music. The key is to find something you enjoy so it doesn't feel like a chore. Remember, every bit of movement counts, and it's never too late to start. Now, let's talk about the 5th side effect: mental health challenges. This one might surprise you, but sitting too much can actually affect your mood and mental well-being. When you're sedentary, your body produces fewer endorphins, those feel-good chemicals that help boost your mood and reduce stress. Over time, this can lead to feelings of anxiety, depression, or just general low energy. Plus, sitting for long periods often means you're spending less time socializing or engaging in activities that bring you joy, which can also take a toll on your mental health. So, what can you do to protect your mental well-being? First, try to make movement a social activity. Invite a friend or family member to join you for a walk, or sign up for a group exercise class. Not only will you get the physical benefits of moving your body, but you'll also enjoy the mental boost that comes from connecting with others. If you're not able to get out much, even a phone call or video chat with a loved one while you're sitting can help lift your spirits. Another tip is to incorporate activities that bring you joy into your daily routine. Whether it's listening to music, working on a hobby, or spending time with a pet, doing things that make you happy can help counteract the negative effects of sitting. And don't forget to take breaks to stretch and move. It's a great way to clear your mind and boost your mood. Now, before we move on to the final part of this video, let's take a moment to recap what we've covered so far. We've talked about 5 dangerous side effects of sitting too much: muscle weakness, poor circulation, back and joint pain, increased risk of chronic conditions, and mental health challenges. But more importantly, we've also explored practical, actionable steps you can take to combat these issues. From simple exercises and stretches to making movement a social activity, there are so many ways to stay active and healthy as you age. And remember, it's not about doing everything perfectly or making huge changes overnight. It's about taking small, consistent steps that add up over time. Whether it's standing up to stretch during a television show, taking a short walk after dinner, or calling a friend to chat while you move around the house, every little bit helps. The key is to find what works for you and make it a regular part of your routine. In the next part, we'll wrap things up by diving into a few more tips and strategies to help you stay active and healthy. We'll also talk about how to stay motivated and make these changes stick, so you can feel your best for years to come. So, let's keep going. You're doing great, and your health is worth it. We've covered a lot of ground so far, haven't we? From the physical effects of sitting too much, like muscle weakness, poor circulation, and back pain, to the risks it poses for chronic conditions and mental health, it's clear that staying active is one of the best things we can do for ourselves as we age. But before we wrap up, I want to share a few more tips and strategies to help you stay on track and make these changes a natural part of your daily life. One of the most important things to remember is that consistency is key. It's not about doing a lot all at once. It's about making small, manageable changes that you can stick with over time. For example, if you're not used to moving much during the day, start by setting a goal to stand up and stretch every hour. Once that becomes a habit, you can build on it by adding a short walk or a few simple exercises. The goal is to create a routine that feels doable and enjoyable, not overwhelming. Another tip is to make movement a part of your daily activities. Think about the things you already do every day and how you can add a little more activity to them. For instance, if you're washing dishes, try standing on one leg for a few seconds to improve your balance. Or, if you're waiting for the kettle to boil, do a few gentle squats or march in place. These little bursts of activity might seem small, but they add up over time and can make a big difference in how you feel. It's also important to listen to your body. As we get older, our bodies might not move the way they used to, and that's okay. The goal isn't to push yourself to the limit, but to find a level of activity that feels good and supports your health. If something hurts or doesn't feel right, don't force it. Instead, try a gentler version of the movement or switch to something else. Remember, this is about feeling better, not pushing yourself to the point of discomfort. Now, let's talk about staying motivated. Let's be honest. Making changes to your routine can be challenging, especially if you've been sitting a lot for years. But here's the thing, you don't have to do it alone. Find ways to keep yourself inspired and accountable. Maybe that means setting a daily step goal and tracking your progress with a pedometer or smartphone app. Or perhaps it means finding a workout buddy, someone who can join you for walks or exercise sessions. Having someone to share the journey with can make it more fun and keep you motivated. Another great way to stay motivated is to celebrate your progress. Take a moment to acknowledge the small wins along the way. Did you stand up and stretch every hour today? That's a win. Did you take a short walk after dinner? Another win. These little victories might seem small, but they're proof that you're making positive changes for your health. And don't forget to reward yourself occasionally. Whether it's treating yourself to a new book, enjoying a favorite snack, or simply taking a moment to appreciate how far you've come. Finally, I want to leave you with this thought. It's never too late to start. No matter how long you've been sitting too much or how inactive you've been in the past, today is a new day. Every small step you take toward moving more and sitting less is a step toward better health and a better quality of life. You don't have to do everything at once, and you don't have to be perfect. Just keep taking those small, consistent steps, and over time, you'll start to notice a difference in how you feel. So, let's quickly recap what we've covered in this video. We talked about 5 dangerous side effects of sitting too much: muscle weakness, poor circulation, back and joint pain, increased risk of chronic conditions, and mental health challenges. And we explored practical, actionable steps to combat each one. We also discussed how to stay consistent, make movement part of your daily routine, listen to your body, and stay motivated. Remember, the goal isn't to overhaul your life overnight, but to make small, sustainable changes that add up over time. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these side effects in your own life? What strategies have you tried to stay active and healthy? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories and learn from your journey. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more tips and advice on living your best life at any age. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, every step you take, no matter how small, is a step toward a healthier, happier you. Here's to living your best life, one movement at a time.